Welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on a Friday special Halloween edition of Un Poco Mas. I'm going as a weird fat guy who likes to obsess over Sofi stock. It's a great costume, very innovative. It's Un Poco Mas, guys. Of course, it's me, little Danny Cornbread DeCarlo, and they call me Cornbread because I am moist, I am doughy, and I crumble under pressure. You don't want to know why they call me Stubby Cohiba. Let's just say I've got battle scars from Vitamix in my nether regions and from a manscaping accident. Just leave it at that. Of course, that's pretty much the whole detail. So, anyway, I would like people to say long story short and then just go on forever. A lot of idiots out there, and present company included. Oh, you guys. Oh, I hate you guys so much. I hate my entire audience. A bunch of tiny wang broke pikers, losers, ne'er-do-wells, people with jobs that allow them to just take a nice 50-minute break in the middle of the day, and nobody notices because they weren't doing anything in the first place. So that's the Un Poco Mas. That's the Turd Army. That's that little bit more that we give you every single day. And I, guys, if you followed the channel, I used to do SoFi videos literally every single day when this thing was stuck at those lows forever. And I was just begging everybody, please buy the stock. And they couldn't really scare away the core retail shareholders back then. I mean, we're a stubborn, stupid, tiny wing group, and we stick together. And I know some of you were buying that dip. I know some of you weren't. I know some of you have been coming to the stock later, and that's absolutely fine. Let's see here. Let's pull up. So they're just like, okay, today, pretty low volume. I think what happens is market makers just all collude on this stuff, maybe tacitly, and just Neo's up nicely today, but 717. I mean, it was knocking on the back door of 8 recently. So, this is kind of the bear strategy. They just basically you like, what's that guy Sisyphus who pushes the rock up the hill over and over? That's kind of their strategy with this thing. They price fix it down another dollar, and then you have to, running over the same old ground, you still haven't found whatever it is you're looking for, you worthless wandering sack. No, anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. It's the great Carl Seamark, of course, joining us, holding down the comments. Carl is the one who actually provides any factual information. If you need any real answers, you can go over and ask Carl in the comments, just to increase his workload a little bit. No, what's up, PL Shack, Plash Hack. I don't know what your name is, but big pink wave right back at you, my friend. We got the great Stuart George, 7830. What's going on? Good afternoon, sir. Good morning over here. And the wonderful, world-renowned SJ Tavares. Welcome and good day, SJ. 321, let's Poco, indeed. I'm not going to flip you guys off. And the great David Massarelli, and again, I apologize, I always say your name. What's going on, guys? And a greeting to all you tiny wingers ourselves. From me to you, guys. Let's touch tips. Anyway, seriously, I'm not gay, but I'm extremely gay friendly and I do like to party. So take that however you like. Let's just say I've been in a situation or two. Doesn't count in college, guys. That's what I'm told. Asking for a friend. Anyway, let's just say we're talking SoFi stock. We're not talking about any gay experiences that I may or may not have had at one time or another. I'm just joking. But anyway, guys, I don't know why like everything for me goes back to like tiny wangs and fart jokes and just idiocy, because I'm very immature and I have an idiotic sense of humor. My sense of humor is more juvenile than like the Step Brothers. I don't mean the movie Step Brothers. I mean if the characters were actual people. Like I'm more lowbrow. Anyway, so SoFi down 20. Look at the 5-day. I know volume's low today. The stock's getting beat up on a green day, and oh my god, I think it's kind of funny that they think a lot of retail is going to dump down below 20. I realize that's not what they're doing. I realize they're killing, the calls at 29, and they're killing all the calls, and there's tons of calls at 30 and 31, and probably even at like 32, 33, because it was an ER, maybe even like 35. I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes, but I always say don't assume this stock is going to go up on earnings, because they always hit it. You see KBW and Morgan Fudley lining up in the back with their hatchets and their knives out, ready to just stick it in the back of Anthony Noto, like the cowardly curs that they are. And then what was that video game? Like, you fleed like a cowardly cur. I think it was That one where you had orcs and humans or something. I can't remember. Map Quest, whatever the fuck it was. Anyway, guys, I'm just giving sort of more a, sort of a I don't know what you'd call it, like a rant of frustration or whatever, but don't get frustrated. This does not matter. The stock came off 7, it went to 32, whatever, back to 29. If this is the best they can do, like retail, this is my contention. Retail is not setting stop losses. Retail is not dumping on the back of the ER. Retail is buying this dip with whatever they have. Now, we don't have enough firepower to push the stock up. And, I was buying symbolically today, not a ton of shares, but, with whatever I had, whatever cash I had available. I'm averaging way up, guys, way up, but I'm still just in the fight because I just want to buy the stock. I don't want this. It's kind of like hard on my sleeve. I guess it's illogical, but sometimes I just like to buy in to these guys when they push down after a great ER. Let's see what's going on here. Welcome and hello. It's the great not a lurker. Welcome and hello. Thank you. I appreciate that, J Money. I will do that. What's going on, everybody? The great Chris from P90X fame, 20% for 3250. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if 20% is the worst case for retracement. It could be, with the volatility here, it could be a lot more than that. I mean, for me, retracement is usually anywhere from 30 to even 50 or 60% of the initial move. I mean, 20% is, it's barely retracement, but 20% could almost just be part of consolidation, just winking out the traders and the people who were never going to be in the stock long term in the first place. That's what I mean about these strategies the bears are employing. They're just selling all these shares, dumping all these shares because they're not shorting that many. So they're dumping below 30, I think. And the obvious assumption is they're going to drive it down much further. But I think they dramatically underestimate the resolve, the intelligence, the research, and the staying power of the SoFi retail investor. Just like they underestimated Anthony Noto and team, just like they underestimated SoFi. They keep saying, oh, everybody, this is going to go bankrupt. This can't go anywhere. You heard all those talking heads that, one moron from New England, not a moron, he was a smart guy, like a math professor or whatever, who was talking to Tanner numerous times. Oh, the credit quality, it's all going to deteriorate. Once the cycle hits, they're going to be out of business. They're not going to be able to make. It was all gibberish, guys, because they didn't understand what this company is. And they didn't understand the quality of the membership they're building. They didn't understand how great this business model is. And it's being proven ER after ER after ER, 16 ERs in a row, 20 stellar ERs in a row. The growth. Now, I'm not saying the growth and the margins and all that are as exciting as like Hood and Palantir. But if you're a long-term investor, somebody who wants to retire in security and wealth, don't go for the quick buck and the fastest growth. It often burns out. The brightest star often burns out and fades away. Paraphrase Jerry Garcia. Don't fade away. And there they are, just a huge, and you see these like huge hammer candles. That's how they drive the thing down. It's trading sideways at this 45, and then they just drop it from 29.26 all the way down to 28.90, and then it's trading along here happily at 29, and then they drop it down to trigger stop losses, I would say, at 28.75 or whatever, 28.70. I just don't think that many retarders are putting in stop losses at 28.74. I think more retarders are buying right now. That's my honest opinion. I don't think they're scared of this at all. We saw the ER. You cannot just make up your own objective reality. When we see 38% year-on-year growth and you're telling us 16% CAGR, who's lying to us? You or our eyes? You or my biological father, Anthony Noto? I'll tell you who's lying. It's these hack analysts. Their assumptions don't make any sense. If you look at it, okay, went from 8 cents or 9 cents, 8 something to 11. Okay, in 1 quarter, growing 900,000 members, growing deposits. And how are they selling that growth is going to slow down somehow to 16% into, we just had a rate cut. I'm not saying for sure there's going to be another rate cut, but I don't think there's going to be a rate increase. coming at us. I mean, I guess anything's possible. But look at this just fall off a cliff. I mean, this is a huge opportunity. I bought shares earlier. I wish, of course, I'd waited. I'd have got them cheaper. But as soon as this ends, if this stays down, as soon as I end this video, I'm probably going to buy some more shares. Because it's not because I care about my average. It's just because I care about, it's like Luke says, your target price, what you think the stock is worth, and where is it now. Don't worry about where it's been. Don't worry about your average. Don't worry, it just 4x, so I can't buy. That's illogical. That's the type of logic I was employing with Palantir that just bit me right in my big fat ass. Don't fall victim to these scams. This is a price fixing scam. Is it illegal to fix the price like this? Yes. And you say, okay, they're just selling a lot. Everybody's putting a lot of shares really low at the ask all at once in one can. It's not in one candle. It's like in 1 second. And is it one actor doing it? Perhaps. They have to be dumping or shorting a hell of a lot of shares here. A hell of a lot of shares. I mean, and it's the same. And they were dumping those shares on the ER, but that might be good for them because they were dumping those shares in the 30s. And now but they're not trying to like cover and rebuy here and make their nice 10, 15% in a couple days and go home. They want it all. So they keep shorting and they keep hammering the stock and they drive it down further. And I'm saying that's the opportunity. And that's where they underestimate retail because they think you're dumping here. They think this is the same retail from the 1990s, metrosexuals, the guys wearing sweaters and moisturizing. That ain't you guys. You guys are rough. You guys are, you got your side hustle on. You got your tiny wings and you're not afraid to use them. You're out there on your side hustles, you're doing Uber, you're greeting people at Walmart, you're stacking cords of firewood, you're cutting lawns. And between all that, you run on home and grab your shine tips or your shine box and do a couple of pairs of wing tips on your break. Sorry, I botched that one. Anyway, I have no idea what I'm talking about, as per usual. But yeah, Sofi is getting really, kicked in the nuts today. That's the bottom line. But I mean, what's there to be afraid of on the back of that ER? And all their assumptions are completely based upon flawed data. It's like, okay, a lot of these analysts are saying they're going to make 80 cents or close to $1 in 2028. Like, what are you smoking? And it's not that they're not understanding. It's that they're, in my opinion, they're intentionally not seeing it, Oh, but the cyclical credit risk. Oh, the cyclical credit risk. Oh, we have misgivings, hand-wringing. We just don't know. It's like you can't make any bearish arguments on the facts, on the math in that ER, and on the financials in that ER. It's like they blew away analyst expectations, just about every single metric. And the only reason fee-based income looked a little bit weaker next to, interest income is because interest income was just off the charts and originations were as strong as they could be. And this, this loan platform is just the first platform. They can make platforms for anything. They own the whole tech stack. They already have a banking charter. New can apply for these nuts. It's not going to work like it does in Latin America, and everybody's just going to jump on New because they're the flavor of the month. SoFi has earned the right to win. They have earned the right to win through superior execution, leadership, strategy, model, team, all of the above. And I don't think New is going to come in here and, crack my sack. Fat often cracks. Right about 50, they say. I see salt, but is there a salt substitute? What about Bob? Yeah, Dad, what about Bob? Anyway, so I don't know, guys. I can't tell you to buy the stock here at 28.75 or whatever, just because maybe you were buying a lot of shares at 7. I hope you were, and you don't need to add to your share count. You're working your plan, you're planning your work, you're logical. I'm none of those things. I go, oh, they shouldn't be pushing down. Rah! I get out my pitchfork and I, take a third mortgage on my shack, buy some shares, get some skin in the game, dip a toe in the water, if you know what I mean. I think you do. Mum's the way. What's up, two brothers, 13.99. You're both here. I love you guys. Love you guys like brothers. Hold on, let me put my brother on the phone. Would you like the information? Yeah, I would, but I'm just not sure about my brother. Hold on. I was just talking to your brother. Hold on, let me put my I don't know what. Again, this shows the sort of juvenile nature of my sense of humor, but I find Jim Florentine's bit, "Let me put my brother on the phone," just absolutely hilarious. Just the entire premise is they just keep interrupting this lady who's trying to sell him like a timeshare. They just interrupt her like every 3 seconds and put their brother on the phone. Like, hold on, let me put my brother on the phone. They just do that like 100 times until they're just driving this lady crazy. Do you need directions? Like, the very end, she's like, is the 13th good? Oh, it's good for me, but I have to check with my brother. So stupid. I don't know, man. Prank phone calls, messing with telemarketers. I find all that stuff hilarious. But I'm a big idiot. So what are you going to do? Back me up on that, Gustav Graves 42. Could be. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's around 35 end of year, and I would certainly be very happy with that. I mean, again, it was, it was what, like 7 this year, 6? I don't know. So yeah, that would be incredible. I think it could even be higher. It could certainly be lower. I don't know. I mean, they can definitely push this thing way down. They've proven they can. I think it's unwise because I don't think retail's going anywhere. Institutions and hedge funds certainly aren't scared of these shenanigans. But everybody just makes this tacit agreement. Hey, we're not going to buy on OPEX day. We're going to push this down unless the market makers are holding a lot of these calls. But I don't think market makers play these weeklies unless it's to hedge, because they know the desk down the hall needs to stock down. And that's how this stuff works. It's not all necessarily coordinated on Signal or Snapchat or whatever. It's just how the game is played. Like, oh, we buy on Monday, we buy on Tuesday. I think it's all sort of this flow where they take money from retail, put more money into their own pockets, and they all work together. Stock's down to 28.60. I mean, why the sell-off on Sofi? Does anybody know? Is there headlines? Are the numbers bad? Did they revise the ER down where it wasn't a, nice, huge, juicy beat, triple beat? And what was most impressive to me was, the guidance raise. They're usually much more tepid, but, these are strong. They're giving strong guidance raises. But, it was, again, Luke, who I think is really the best guy on SoFi, quite frankly, with just his overall. I'm not saying go inside the numbers and do all the spreadsheets. I'm sure he does all that stuff, but just on his overall take on the company and how you should approach, buying shares and accumulating and like really appreciating the dips, really appreciating these times when they push down. Because a lot of us, a lot of people were establishing new positions right after that great ER well up into the 30s. And you have an opportunity now to buy 10%, 15% below where they were just buying. And I'm hoping a lot of those poor souls, got stopped out and they just lose all their money far too quickly, before their time. And they all teach trailing stop losses. Okay, if you buy at 31, put in your stop loss at 29.60 or whatever your math tells you, whatever your charts tell you. I personally never invest that way. I put stop losses way, way, way down. Like if a stock, there's some black swan event, at least I won't lose all my money. But I don't put stop losses where they're going to get triggered like after the ER if it loses 15% or something. I mean, I put my stop losses down like 40%. If I even, most of the time I don't even have it. Like on SoFi, Anthony Noto is my stop loss. The only thing I think that could really hurt the stock in the short term is a money raise, but so many people are asking me about, am I so concerned that the business is cash flow negative? Not really, because my research has indicated that a lot of that is to do with the structure of the bank and how lending is recognized on the books, and whether that they were holding more loans, and depending on the interest rate environment, and that their actual their actual cash flow as a business, you look at like operating cash flow is negative, but cash flow from financing is like way positive. Yes, at the end of the day, I understand cash is cash and cash is going out the door, but they are scaling. SoFi is scaling their way out of all the negatives, and they're doing it very, very quickly. Like, and that, they say time heals all wounds. I would say size heals all wounds. And that's, with all due respect to you, Tiny Wing All Stars out there, but um, all these numbers get smaller, all these problems get smaller. And if you're making positive numbers on a gap basis, that your cash flow is going to catch up. It's not a lot of businesses structurally that could sit there and make bigger and bigger and bigger gap net profits and more EBITDA, and over time still be cash flow negative. And it won't be that way with SoFi. Now, some people say they'll be cash flow positive in 2 or 3 quarters. Other people say it's going to be, 4 quarters, and they have to raise money again next year. Hopefully, it'll be early next year. I don't think Noto will raise money this year. I hope not. They don't really need to. I know he's a guy who likes to have a very healthy balance sheet, especially as a bank and with regulators looking at you and all that. But I think you could raise money. Noto likes to raise money from strength. And to me, anything under 30 right now is not strength with this stock. Anything under 30 for me is just, irrational price action. It's not irrational. I mean, it's mechanics. Like what I mean by mechanics is they're not investing based on what they think the merits of the company are. They're not investing like on a swing trade. They're not investing, I think it's going to go up or down after earnings. They're determining the price because they need a certain price to get a certain outcome to make money on a certain trade or deal or derivative or swap. There's all kinds of things going on behind the scenes mechanically, sort of operations of the markets that we don't even really know. I mean, we might know, you might be able to look it up. But if you watch these specials and like how these trading houses work on the daily, they're in all these trades that honestly most of us have never even heard of. They're very exotic and they're not, even available or even known to most retail investors. So it is what it is, guys. The only strategy retail can really do is just try to, DCA on dips and hold long term. That's really what works. Sell covered calls, sell cash secured puts. I try to buy calls and play momentum when I can, but not around earnings. Never around earnings, because they always do this. I mean, I would say, 75% of the ERs, they, sort of flash crash the stock the couple days after. And then, in my opinion, you just cannot deny objective reality forever. So I think this stock is going to, completely go bonkers next week. I think, I just don't see anybody selling. And that's the other point I wanted to make is like, if you keep looking at the filings, how is this a viable long-term strategy for them to just keep selling and dumping and selling and dumping and shorting? And not buying. I mean, there's still like a 9% short on the stock. And then if you look at the filings, sorry guys. If you look at the filings today, I mean, these are very bullish filings. What do I mean by that? Look at the new positions. You have one position selling out today, Drive Wealth Management, and then you have a new position from Mitsubishi Trust and Bank, 500,000 shares. They're coming in at 2364. I mean, all these companies are coming in at 2364. I think that Renaissance, no, Resonance, Resona. I don't know who the hell that is. But anyway, there's far more new positions last quarter than there are companies selling out. And you think, well, there should have been so many companies selling out because the stock had just 3x from 7. I mean, it's up in the mid 20s. Wouldn't they all be dumping? Because this is just a crappy company. It's just a meme stock. No, you see the opposite happening. You see them just continuing to accumulate. The fund sentiment score keeps going up every single day. This was just at 91 yesterday. It's at 93 today because they keep accumulating. And when this changes tomorrow for the new month, this I'm pretty positive is going to keep going up to all-time highs in institutional ownership. And again, I hate to keep like lifting my content from Luke, but he just has the same thinking I do on the stocks. Not like I'm trying to copy him, but he's talking about how these stocks are priced, and they're not priced by retail, they're not priced by bears, they're not priced by short, they're priced by Wall Street bulls. They're priced by Wall Street. So Wall Street decides the multiple. Wall Street decides the multiple on Palantir, decides, like, look at it. Like, it's no accident these stocks that have these really high valuations have really high institutional ownership, like 80s, mid 80s. SoFi is not anywhere near there yet, so it's not getting that type of valuation. But as it continues, to prove itself quarter after quarter after quarter and grow into the evaluation and grow into the multiples, institutions, market makers, hedge funds are going to take larger and larger positions in the stock. You see insurance companies coming in, annuities, companies like Farmers and Merchants Trust, companies like Allstate, and all, these different insurance companies that need stable income. You see everyone wants to buy their loans. Everyone wants a piece of SoFi. And if you think it's overvalued today, fair enough, but give it a year. You might have to pay a premium because of the growth, because of the execution, because of the quality. Quality, you pay a premium for quality. And this company is as quality gets. That's my contention. Let me bang my fist on the table. I say that about analysts. They're banging their hand on the table. Yeah, sure they are. They're having a stiff drink. 10 in the morning. Little 4 martini breakfast. Know what I mean? Oh, the great Emiglio Agliari, 1915, something like that. Don't know the exact way. Sorry, I come in the middle of these comments. Happy Halloween, Richard Vaughn. Happy Halloween, everybody. Fine. S&P 500 inclusion. Some guy on Reddit says a Bloomberg terminal for like 20K a year while they trade Nebulous. Yeah. Bloomberg terminal, it's not going to be that useful for you, believe me. You have to understand what the hell you're doing. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything. I don't have any of the knowledge to use a Bloomberg terminal. I've used them. I've seen them. They're cool. But I mean, if it's not a terminal anymore, you can just get it right on your computer on the internet. It used to be an actual terminal, like an actual computer they'd give you. Anyway, guys. So yeah, down today. They're just beating it up, killing calls, and of course, a lot of swing traders are going to get out today and swing into something else. So they're basically killing people with a short-term, fear-based, tiny wing mindset, and I know that's most of you. So they're killing you softly, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly. Anyway, guys, can't really sing as well as Lauryn Hill, unfortunately for me. And for the rest of you, because you won't have to hear me sing off key. Did I buy calls for next week for SoFi? Of course I did. Just a few. I mean, I didn't buy that many. It's like 50. At I just bought it more actually when the stock dipped to 20 in the 28s earlier. I bought some 30s, but not that many. I'm mostly in long shares here, David. I'm not like going nuts with the calls trying to make a fortune. It's just not worth it because they could push it down again next week. I mean, you just don't know. That will depend on what we do. That will depend on if we buy calls or if we stick with our shares and we keep adding shares here at these lows. If you want to stop what's going on here, you buy shares at these lows. I mean, calls are one thing. I mean, they do sort of sometimes they cause hedging the other way. I mean, it's complicated what happens with options because market makers are buying in a lot of options and stuff too, and some are selling options, some are buying options. You really have to get into the weeds. People much smarter than me analyze options, and it's not. People always say, "Oh, the options are positive, the options are negative." If you say so, champ, because everybody was saying the options, for SoFi indicated 35, 36 after earnings. Well, and that will come. That will come, but certainly not this week, chumps. You can indicate whatever they want, and then they bash it over the head with a baseball bat and drag it off in the trunk of a Monte Carlo. Put you in slave labor to swap meet, busting dust out of Oriental rugs, if you know what I mean. Know what I mean? I think you do. Yeah, Canadian fintech mafia doesn't have me on anymore. I don't know. I don't really want to go on, but yeah, there's like, I don't know, man. A little, a little much. I mean, I think too is like I would make fun of them for like pumping Bitminer so hard, like buy anything under 60. Why? Because Tom Lee told you to. Because it's overhyped. I mean, that's stock Mo stuff. They can catch up the Canadian fintech mafia. They can catch up anyone. But anyway, it is what it is, guys. Volume is low, obviously intentionally. Market makers are just stepping on our nuts this week, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to cry about it, but the ER was just absolutely stellar, and really nothing can change that. I mean, short term, yes, they can step on the stock, but long term, it's not a good strategy because the only way it really works, yes, they make money on options premium, but the only way it really works is if we are willing to dump to them at the lows they create and the fear they create. And my point is, I just don't think we're going to do that. I think if anything, we're going to buy. Yes, we don't have the firepower to move the stock, but we have the firepower not to dump low, and we have the firepower to buy what shares we can afford low. So we can definitely move the needle. We just can't pop the balloon, if you know what I mean. I think you do because you have a tiny wing. Shush, man. Guys, it's been the pleasure of my life entertaining you here today. Tanner looks like he's in the midlife crisis, going to buy a grill, use every day for 2 weeks. That's funny. I don't know. Yeah, he's got like a mountain man, Bowflex, man boy situation happening. I don't know. Reminds me of Robin, Boy Wonder. I don't know. Tanner's a smart guy, though. I was going to say kid. He's not a kid. He's probably like 30s or something. No, he's a really smart guy. He's just, he tries to go to what's popular to, he's trying to build a brand and stuff, and, respect. Nothing wrong with that. He's much more honest than most people out there on YouTube. I mean, I think he's a pretty honest guy. I think he says what he really thinks. You can believe it or not. So same with Tevis, Roy. I think, Tevis is a little bit more salesman, and let's face facts, man, doesn't run a team. But Roy, these guys are pretty much honest people. They're smart people. They're giving you their opinion. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're wrong. That's cool. But I think people do chase these like crypto and Bitminer and stuff a little bit too quickly because it's like, okay, if everybody's pumping it right then, the problem with these assets that don't have really any fundamentals or no real, value, you'd say. I guess, they have the value of the Ethereum. I get that. But what a value does Ethereum have? It has a value that people say it has. Like, So it's kind of the value the mob creates, if you will. But anyway, I want to thank the great Nautilurg. I want to thank the great Princess J, of course, the great Jason Watkins, chess champion. He makes me want to sell my house and buy Bitcoin. I hope you guys didn't do that. Buyout with today's news, hoping for a decent quarterly report. Yeah, CRISPR is gonna get bought out. I that's my opinion. I mean, because I think their pipeline is that good. I just don't know when. The great Alfred E. Newman is here. Days like this, I wish I didn't stop. Me neither, man. Something like that. I don't know. Okay, guys, Piner, thanks for coming by. Piner74, Ivy League Redneck, Brink Free Cash Flow seems to be, yeah, exactly. It doesn't work the same way for banks, free cash flow, and they have the debt on their books and they're getting payments. They have to put all that cash out up front to make the loan. So that's basically why the more loans you originate, the worse your free cash flow is going to look in that particular period. Now, if you slow down the loans later on, you're getting all the payments back, your free cash flow from operations is going to look good. That's a caveman, kindergarten synopsis of, of how it works, and it's probably 180 degrees wrong, but so is most of the stuff I say. Guys, thanks for watching Un Poco Mas. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure entertaining you here this morning, and I hope you guys have a great Halloween. Keep it safe, please. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. There is no excuse. Take fucking Uber, okay? You're probably fat like me. Walk, walk. You need the exercise. Don't drink and drive. It's so stupid. There's so many kids out there. You're going to kill somebody, you fucking idiot. So once again, don't drink and drive, but have a great time. Other than that, do loopers, do poppers, do crazy pills, whatever you're going to do, as long as you're not driving, just keep it safe. Don't do any of that stuff, guys. Chill with your family, have fun, and be safe and sane so we can all do this, tiny wing tango we do again on Monday. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Have a great Halloween. This is for Un Poco Mas. I'm not reminding you of the size of your wiener. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.